This is Arsenal, a strong team in England who, at the moment, have a knack for coming second. As 2 seasons in a row, they have come second to Manchester City while spending big money, which hasn't won them a title. And today that has cost them, as their budget is zero, their squad has been depleted, and they've been relegated to League 2 for spending too much money. As yes, people, this will be a fun one, this one with Arsenal. Not many good players. Everyone above 74 is gone, leaving our best player as the 31-year-old Cedric, who, if I'm not mistaken, retires early in career mode? Maybe I am, but there is some rules to this one, as you can see. We cannot re-sign any players that have left the club. Odegaard, Rice, Saka, no chance they come back, as the other one, 3 maximum signings a season. With the last one being, of course, because we're using a lot of Arsenal youth players, we have to bring a youth player through every single season. As yes, I've given myself a little bit of money to get a scout in, as we're going to choose wing play to play and change our formation up. Only ever so slightly though, as we only have centre mids and a lot of players out of position, which we will have to train up. Biereth becoming my striker, John Jules hopefully my left wing, Kurjan my right wing, and Walters as my centre back. They're the players out of position, as I've completely randomised the academy, but Jackson Taylor though, he could go straight in our squad. I'm going to promote him, of course I am, as the other one's still looking good. I'll get them on drills. Of course, the youth player we bring through doesn't have to go straight in the first team. But this man looks like he can. So Kurjan's coming off his right wing drill, as maybe now we do change formation, putting him in the cam role. Lovely little starter team this, which I think should do good in League 2. I mean, we've got League 2's best goalkeeper in real life, Okonkwo. Absolutely phenomenal for Wrexham, as yes, we've got 0 million. What I might do just is get a few more academy players in, as that's what I've gone ahead and done. We've got Ewan Gold and Jonathan Peacock. We'll try and get them on loan deals, but definitely not Jackson Taylor. Oh, but another issue I've encountered. We do have to sell someone, because look at all the contracts. We can't afford to lose that many players. I mean, we do have pre-season before we go ahead and play Morecambe, so hopefully that brings a little bit of revenue in that we can pay contracts with. As it does though, look at that. 369k into the bank. That should just squeeze us through for enough players to field a team. As that's exactly what we've gone ahead and done, signing everyone but Cedric, who still demanded a lot of money despite being in League 2. The greed of some individuals, as we have got 2 individuals out on loan in Peacock and Ewan Gold. But before we check on how they did and the rest of the squad in this season, this is my plea to subscribe to the channel. I know we'll get good luck on this video if you go ahead and click that button. We're on a race to 30k. Can we do it in record time? Only time will tell, as let's have a look where we finished. The Young Gunners of Arsenal, top of League 2. Is it a surprise? No. I mean, I didn't expect Forest Green to be up there, so there is some surprises, but we are not one of those. As checking around the cups, Leicester winning the FA Cup, Leicester winning the Carabao, and not Leicester winning the BSN. That went to Huddersfield, but what a run from the Foxes, as this is the team that we have. We've got some good ratings out there. Taylor on the wing, now 70 overall, with Charlie Patino following suit, and almost Norton Cuffy. He looks a good player, as Cedric leaving to go to Belgrano. Good luck to you, Portuguesa. You didn't want to be here anyway. Don't want players playing for us who don't want to be at the club, as we should have players finishing training drills, John Jules being one of those, as he's second top scorer behind Biereth, of course. And how did our lone boys do? A 62 rated and a 59 rated. Not as good as I thought heading into Season 2, where we will get a new academy. Don't you worry about that. But before we go ahead and do, we've got position swaps to do here. Tyrese John Jules and Ruan Walters, the new centre-back. 2 good increases there, as we'll have new contracts to sign, and £4 million? Not very good, is it? Not really good, is it, when you want to be competing, because we'll need a new centre mid, and of course, a new right back. Cedric leaving the club, as Peacock can play centre mid, and this man Gold, He looks better as a cam. They'll both be placed on the bench, but for now, not getting in my team. We do need to get another scout in. Can we find anyone better? Let's have a look, shall we, as we've brought through the new scout, but no one good. Gonna be a painful year for the academy. Still, we'll try and loan them out. Ewan Marshall and Richards are the ones who have got promoted, as it's signings we'll have to rely on. As one player I want to bring in, we can move Norton Cuffy back to right back is Aske Adlegard. Sounds like Odegaard, who should be a brilliant addition. He is replacing Cedric, of course not on the same level, but he is 12 years younger than him. As there we go, just need another centre midfielder now, Bendiera. I don't trust him, but I do trust Taylor, the new Saka. As speaking of Saka's got me thinking, where did the released players go? You can see Saka's gone to Liverpool. Not much of a traitorous move. As Odegaard, on the other hand, Manchester United, and Declan Rice as well. He has chosen to go to Liverpool. As speaking of Liverpool, one player I do want to sign, the final player, this man Jake Kane, an ex-Liverpool Academy graduate. He's going to be joining for just over 725,000, which is a good deal, as can he help us deal with League One? As I don't expect anything apart from maybe a high finish. I don't expect to win the league, as 12th is what we're given. And that isn't really bad. Come on, we can't really expect to be in those playoff places when there's a lot of good teams in League One. We just have to regroup, refocus, and go again next year in order to compete with these big guns again. London rivals, Chelsea win the FA Cup, and Newcastle win the Carabao. That is very interesting. Bristol Street Motors, on the other hand, at least Lincoln lost that one. Which to me, of course, isn't a bad thing. Everyone's signed up still, so they're staying here, including Charlie Patino, Taylor, and of course, Brooke Norton Cuffy. Not going to try and say his name, because I'm going to absolutely butcher it, as John Jules, Biereth, and Kurjan over 10 goals. With Jackson Taylor just lagging behind. 7 goals and 6 assists isn't bad from a youth player, but I still want a little more from him. As season number 3 now, let's be better than last year, shall we? 5 million in the bank? That's enough to get some players in. And also an academy. As you can see, this year we have looked out big time again with Jackson Scott and Zachary Norton. Really good players, but on the other hand, they might not fit in. We do have, of course, Tyrese, John Jules, and Taylor, so my hands are kind of tied. We're going to loan both of these lads out, including Marshall as well, and Richards. Loan all 4 of those lads out, in fact, to try and get some game time to them, as the team looks okay. It's Kane who's the weakest, but also Walters, which to me is a hard player to replace, especially coming through the academy. As Mark McGuinness, though, he could be just that step up, as I've offered 2 million for his services, but they want Jackson Scott. Absolutely no chance at all. 2.5 or leave it. As they don't leave it, here he is coming into the training ground for Arsenal. Big improvement right there. And of course, championship quality. And with that league being the one we want to get into, a very good signing, as this man could be an obscure signing, Mohamed Abbas. Another player with a deal running out, so I am going to jump at the gun to sign him. An extra bit of quality, of course, on Jake Kane. Coming into the Gunners midfield, as speaking of the Gunners, if you want to know how I've got this shirt on right now, I got it for very cheap, as I went and got it from Soccer Deal Shop, the sponsors of the channel. Link down in the description, and MWS10 for further discounts. As end of the season, you can see we have got a playoff game, so it's a decent finish this year, but still not automatic. Thought maybe with the signings we made, we could step up there, but no, it's Barnsley and Blackpool all the bees, as we're a championship club, come on. Brilliant ratings, you can see Hein, the Estonian, has taken over at Conquo, and Patino now 75. Phenomenal rating, as Taylor second as a 74, and all the way down here, Jackson Scott, 69. He somehow got a loan up, and same with Ewan Marshall, both playing in the championship As can that mean we're in it next year? We can hope, of course, can't we? As the first leg against Sheffield, it is a 1-0 win, and the second leg is another win. Moving us into this final here, where Peterborough stand in our way. They haven't got a tactical vision, and ours does beat them. Jake Kane with the winning penalty, as we did draw the game 1-1, but Arsenal win their first trophy since their bankruptcy. What a way to go up. Penalties under the arch as 7 million. That's not an Arsenal budget. Even for where we are a championship team now. I expected around 9, 10, even 11. As where do we improve? I'm kind of thinking centre-back. I know left-back and centre-mid are bad, but they've just arrived. Still, we'll have to see what the academy says, as last year's prospect Jackson Scott now level with Tyrese John Jules at a younger age, but maybe we could make him a cam. Then again, we've got the Romanian Kurjan. All over the shop with ideas this season at least, as we don't have a good prospect. That's bad in the championship. Ellis Wilson, our best one, who will have to loan out because he does not play in the second tier of England. But I tell you one that does play, Andres Alvarez, a 19-year-old, 71 rated. Bringing him in is just a Guardiola-esque signing coming from the Argentine leagues, but of course another young player. As I know this is all about youth, we do have to get youth players through the academy, but still we need some experience, especially in the championship. So what I'm gonna do here is bring a championship winner across, Connor Cody. Yes, the Connor Cody. An amazing signing in my eyes, as we haven't got him in yet, but we're loaning out Ruhel Walters to make room for that centre-back. As here he is with the Arsenal shirt, a signing you probably didn't expect, but a championship winner, as that's what we want to do. Win the championship as the team at the end of the season. Well, it definitely looks capable. Look at some of those ratings. Still, ratings don't mean anything. We haven't finished below 17th. That is good for us, as we finished 10th in the table. That is not good for us, as Aston Villa win the FA Cup, the Carabao to West Brom, and we don't have the other trophy anymore. Instead, it's replaced with the playoffs, as I've simulated them. Blackburn win them, which is quite a shame, actually, because I think Luton will be good next year. And that's more competition, as this is what the squad looks like. We've got a lot of players over the rating of 75, which usually means Premier League worthy. Patino the highest rated, as our lone boys have done well. Ellis Wilson this season. Norton from last season didn't get on well last year, and Marshall now 70 as a goalkeeper, as Biereth is top scorer. So it wasn't the league finish we wanted, but 12 million for finishing 10th. Pretty good going, if you ask me, especially as Connor Cody already going down. Of course, we can only make 3 signings, but I'm desperate to be in the Premier League. So if it requires all 3 signings, being a left-back, a centre-back, and a goalkeeper, hell, I am going to do that. Also, another midfielder on the bench wouldn't go amiss instead of Jake Kane. It hasn't worked out for him, but we do have some loanees back. Look at this, we can take him off for a winger instead. We also have another striker, Richards, and another goalkeeper. Maybe Marshall could step up. 98 kicking on the man. Now that is a bugged out stat. I've never seen that happen before, especially for a left footer. Need to put him on all the set pieces, as this is our academy. Right, the championship has just made our academy stinky. Sam Lee, the one promoted, so of course he's going on the loan list. I'm going to put a lot of loan players out here. Come on, we need to upgrade ratings and upgrade players, but after contracts only 9 million, so this man is valued around 5.5. It is Ivan Garel, a very capable left back, who if we could get for bang on evaluation will give us a little extra money, but they want John Jules. That's an interesting swap deal, which I've gone ahead and accepted. He's now an Everton winger under Sean Dyche. Feel sorry for him a little bit. He'll have to learn how to track back, as Gabriel Straight's in our team. I just thought we had enough wingers with Scott, Taylor, and Norton on the bench. Saved us a lot of money, that one, as the next player I want to get in, he's currently at Atalanta, but Linus Getchter. We do have the money to afford the German, so that is exactly what we've done. We've gone ahead and spent the money on him, Hoping he's not another Mustafi, as he's going to partner Rekic. I have dropped Connor Cody. He's more of a motivational man, as can he motivate us to get to the Premier League? As that's where we should be. Come on, you can see our last month we got 2 2-0 wins and no sign of playoffs. And that, of course, is because we have automatically grabbed promotion. 97 points. We were clear of the baggies West Brom. They came in second as Leeds United win the FA Cup and Liverpool win the Carabao Cup just on penalties, which hopefully Arsenal can return to. They've won loads of FA Cups, and this is what our team looks like. A few 80+ rated now. I mean, one thing's for certain. When we go into the Premier League, we should not be coming straight back down. We are good enough to stay in there. And who knows, maybe grab like a 9th place finish, or maybe even Conference League, if these two can keep scoring. As it is their job ultimately, and our job is to try and win the Champions League with Arsenal, and now we're in the big time. And being in the big time returns a bigger budget to Arsenal, 54 million, finally something worth having. As this is probably where the maximum signing of 3 is going to hurt us most in our promotion to the Premier League. We can't get that many players on board. So I'm probably thinking splashing cash on a goalkeeper and the remainder on a centre-back, and then of course getting a youth player through, which we are going to start with, but still mostly stinkers. Theodore Nichols the best. I'm just going to have to try and loan him out again. It was a goalkeeper at least. The position we're trying to improve, but I want to improve it by signing this man, Andrew of Brazil. As he's cost 34 million, this man, coming from Olympique Marseille. But he fixes our keeper problem with Hein being sold to Hearts, leaving us with 21 million. And you might have just seen in the team the centre-back Rekic, the Tunisian, just decided to leave as well. He wanted to leave for ages, to be fair, so I just didn't give him that new contract. But a man I'd love to give a contract to is Bichiaibu, who I know I've probably just absolutely butchered the name of, but he's here and he's beautiful. 6'5", 23-year-old. The new Saliba, as he's in the team for the first game against Brighton, which we get beat 3-1 in, which has me thinking maybe I've expected too much of this team, but looking at it on paper, that should be hammering Brighton. Still, we're at the end of the season, and oh my god, not only did we finish 16th, but look in the relegation zone. West Brom winning 0 games, but of course, above that, Manchester United are relegated, and even Tottenham finishing 15th. What is going on with this season? Brighton, who beat us, win the FA Cup. And Carabao goes to Chelsea. Right, that's the actual only normal thing. As I know we can't sign ex-players, but who have Man United got? They've got a few very decent players. Any ex-Arsenal here, though? Martin Odegaard, 90 rated. Now, if I didn't introduce them rules, you know I'd be snapping him up, as I just can't believe it. Manchester United in career mode getting relegated, honestly. Get yourselves on PC and get yourself some mod packs, as there's no chance this happens in any console FIFA. 11th place in the championship. It's just so weird seeing. Of course, we relegated them ourselves and rebuilt them in a previous save, but I haven't took any players off them here. Maybe we could this season? As defense still needs strengthening, it's obviously proven by our league finish. It was absolutely dreadful. But then maybe midfield as well. Our bench is rather weak, as we've got 76 million. Okay, so it is actually increasing after season number 1. Which isn't something we're used to. As another thing we're not used to is having a decent academy, but Toby Nash, maybe he could feature. In a Carabao Cup game, maybe. He actually almost fits on the bench, which only tells me one thing, really. We need more bench players. But we can only sign 3, of course. We cannot forget that. And if you thought I wasn't signing from Man United, you were mistaken. As I'm stealing Hannibal Mejbri, he comes in for 22 million. And also this man Krajicki, because the first centre-back you saw rejected us. One of them in the team, because Alvarez, well, he's a young player in the team. who I just want to progress further. And the third and final player, probably useless, I know, but he's going to be a backup anyway. Andre Onana, also a petty signing, I know, because we don't really have to use him. I'm just kind of trying to do Man United. I'd love for them not to get promoted, as we need to probably focus on ourselves in season number 2 here in the Premier League, of course, as Spurs down there in 14th. We're not down there this time, which is a good feeling, though. We finished in 5th still. Not really good enough. Yeah, we've got to pull away from kind of being obsessed with Manchester United. In the Championship as City, their rivals win the FA Cup, and they do the double with the Carabao. And we actually can't see here, can we? Nope. No menus to go and see the Championship. Need to stop being obsessed, though, as this is how our team looks. Onana didn't play, but at least he's a Premier League player. As that's where the jokes stop, I promise. So we've got to focus on ourselves again, of course, as the team's good enough for the Europa. Probably better than good enough, as we've got 3 players over 86, a lot in the 80s as the top scorer at the club. Mika Biereth, it's turning into just a usual thing here. If he can keep this up and maybe get to a Champions League rating, I would love it, as he's 93 pace, 81 shooting, 86 physical. A mini Erling Haaland is on the bench, Richards. That's a position we could definitely do better in. As before we check budgets, I am going to stay obsessed, and Manchester United are back. Shame is that, really, as 56 million? Really shameful for Europa. Thought we'd have more, as I only spoke on striker. We could do with a left winger. It's getting difficult now, because it's not much money, and we've got to try and push for the Champions League. How are we supposed to better that without making many signings? As I tell you how, we've got Sofiane Diop, the Moroccan left winger. If we could save money here, which it looks like we're going to do, we've got a bigger budget to now buy 2 players. Or should we call it 1? Because the other player I could sign, I have looked at free agents, I cannot lie to you guys. Because free agents are usually, well, worse than what you've already got, but still very decent, like Levi Garcia. He jumps into the club, but of course never gets played. Biereth starts, but he's a bench option, which is what you need in the Europa League, as that bench looks better already, and still we've got money to go and get a first team player. As this is the man I want to sign, Mateus Fernandes, a Portuguese centre mid. Every good team has one. As he comes in as our third and final signing. Is this the first time we've made 3 signings? I've already forgotten. Not the greatest of memories, as we've still got 9 million. Right, let's spend that on a big scout, shall we? Right now. Yagodin, the Russian. Right, we're spending all his money on him. Can we get a good player? Please, maybe Premier League bench-worthy? As we don't. We get Riley Andrew, a good youngster, but we can't promote him yet. Atkinson, welcome. Go straight on the loan list, as we go straight into this season, that is, with that Europa League group. Let's hope we won it, eh? As we did win the Premier League, so that is the big trophy, straight in the cabinet. Beating Leicester by a point, Man City by 2 points. 77 points is a low margin to win on. But win on we did, as Manchester City win the FA Cup, and Carabao Cup winners, it's us again. 2 trophies for the Gunners, as we'll check the Europa League. We didn't win this one. Juventus winning the final, as we did top our group, and we went into the next round where we lost on penalties, which is fair enough. Spot kicks are a lottery, as this team isn't a lottery. We've planned it to perfection. Brilliance all over. But the best bit, not the ratings, not the goal scorer, not Patino. It's Scott and Taylor, 2 youth players on either wing. And also Alvarez. He's not one of our own, but he has surpassed the new signing Fernandes, who hasn't been great. And Alvarez actually got 13 goals. Diop, the new signing, with 17. The Moroccan free agent, who's 30-year-old and gone down a rating, turns out to be our best player. And you see this. This is where I wish I could bring back former players with a budget of 123 million. Says 2 billion in the middle of that circle. I'm guessing that's money made. because we don't get to spend that. As much as I'd love to on 3 players, of course, as this man we can't replace brought us to the Champions League and won us 2 trophies, so he stays on the bench. Maybe another left back. Maybe another backup winger. We'll just go with the wind, as in this season, Adam Pearson and Lucas Finch through the academy. Out of the players that we can promote, them 2 are decent, but has it come too late? Are we almost finished? Because we are in this Champions League, but do we win it season number 1? I don't think so, especially with our current team. But could that quality be unlocked by this man right here, Lewis Miley? I know I'm going in for another midfielder, but this man can play everywhere. He's currently at Liverpool. We're going to take him off a rival's hands. That's a double win. So let's just bring him across. We are the winners of the Premier League. We should have the pulling power, and we've done a reverse Chamberlain. Perfect for the bench, and our left back actually left Asgard on the bench. We need a new left back. So this man, Mario Pinto, getting another Portuguese player in. This man's from another Premier League rival in Bournemouth. Or not exact rival. I don't think we're going to compete with them, but he's a good man for Arteta to bring in as backup. Love it, as we've given the first team a lot of love. That is something for sure. But the youth players, well, I don't want to actually give up on them. So as you can see, I've loaned out the youngest ones we've got, and we hope to see maybe one come to fruition. But it's potential out of the current squad which we want to see most as we... Wait, hang on. That's not the Champions League. Oh my days, I didn't show you the group stages, but we finished 3rd in that group, which is horrific, but it did see us win a trophy, so the Europa League, I guess. Yay, a trophy. Not the trophy we wanted though, as we still do have Champions League football through both the League and the Europa League. City winning the League this year as we beat them in the Community Shield. FA Cup, that was won by Leicester. As City win the Carabao Cup though, so they do have their trophy. But weirdly enough, they play Leicester in the Champions League. Leicester reaching the final. That should have been us, as looking at the squad, it should have been us winning it. At least we got the Europa League, but we've got 90 rated now in Biereth and Patino, 2 original players who are on Arsenal's books in real life as Biereth top scorer. You've got something to look forward to, Gunners fans. As our youth players as well, did they work out? We got Pearson at a 70 and Nash at a 70. Good ratings for youth players, but maybe a bit late if we do well next season and maybe win the Champions League. It is the only thing left, and with this team which you cannot tell the ratings of because there's that many players, on international duty we should be going up. Look at the rating increase on Scott. He was 84 last season. I'm pretty sure anyway, as only 101 million. That is not as much as last year, but we didn't do as well as last year. We did win a trophy, but not that Premier League, which gets you all the money. So it is understandable. As first things first, we've got to do the academy. Thomas Clark isn't bad, but definitely not what we need. I'm pretty sure one of the highest ratings you could get from the academy is like 68, 69, which we're not getting. Even with a 5-star scouters, it hasn't budged our budget, which is very good. Now let's go and get some players. As I believe we're back to that stage of backup signings, because Levi Garcia, now 82 rated, as he didn't get played much behind Biereth, and another player that might not get played much is Bayer, as I'm gonna buy him, if you see what I did there. 50 million, which is almost half of our budget. And he's straight on the bench, as the only other position we could really strengthen is the legend Dior, as he's replaced by this man, Maric, who looks like the Tadic regen, but still a lot better, as that is yet again another regen winger into the squad, and I think the squad completed. That was very quick, as the only thing left to do was get these youngsters out on loan, which if we don't win the Champions League, they could play next season. If they had a big increase, as we don't need much increases to beat Villarreal, Celtic and Slavia Praha, which should be interesting, as it's got to that point of the save as well where we check the Ballon d'Or list, but no players on there. Has Biereth been robbed? He's 93 rated at 30-year-old now. This save's gone on a while. while. As Patino in the 90s as well, same with Brook and same with Taylor, our day one youngster. As this is the team, if it hasn't won the Champions League, I expect it to be close, as there's one change right there to make. Getster in this team makes it a wonderful lineup, but has the wonderful lineup done wonders? Let's see, shall we, as in the Premier League, second again to Manchester City. Game's too realistic as the FA Cup final hasn't took place yet, but Villa and Preston. Carabao Cup to City as well. As in the Champions League, for once, we finished top of our group. Nice to see that, as we beat Roma in the round of 16, Juve in the quarters, and Inter in the semis, which means we are in a final. Manchester City, their time to get revenge and not finish second to them. But before we get into this final, one thing you guys asked for is a review on all the players that were here at the start. You asked for it on the Man United video, so we've got the keepers here. We've got Toffees, who decided to go to the rivals Tottenham. Not classy from him, as yes, the rest of them. If you want to pause the video and have a look at the ratings, the stats and everything, they should be at the side, as there's only one stat I care about, and that's winning the Champions League. As all those players that have left us years before, hang on, we're in the away kit. I've got to pause this game, as this is much better. Got the away kit on myself, matching the team. Hopefully a good omen. As if you're wondering why I've got two Arsenal shirts when I'm a Grimsby Town fan, just don't ask, because Biereth, he is kept on side here, but he's gone and bloody lost it, as it seems like City going for a different approach here. Haaland putting the press on, the ball into the middle, brilliant tackle, don't know who it was, get rid of the ball, and now, can we counter down this left-hand side? Scott, our youngster, just shredding a man for pace, and he is kind of through on goal here, if Scott can keep on going. And I ran out of breath speaking, but he goes and slams the keeper's glove, that's a decent corner. Oh my days, Haaland. Come on, City seems sceptical, just jump that little bit higher, and try and win your header as Biereth put through on goal. It looks good for the Danishman, but a brilliant tackle. And now with the corner, we still don't score, but it's still in play here. Edge of the box, can we try and strike it? We do, but now it's their chance to come forward at us again. But we again steal the ball. Biereth, take a step to the side. Hit this from range if you can. Oh my days. Caught by Andrade, but still we need to try and win this, as we've cut inside again. And this is Taylor's turn to strike. Brilliant glove by the keeper, as Manchester City have been under the cosh, and they are saved by the bell, as it's still 0-0 at half-time. Still, we've been the better team, as they get a ball into the box to start this second half off with. Brilliant save from Andrew, which hopefully gets us on a counter, you know. It's a good ball through now onto Patino. Charlie Patino uses Young on this right wing. He's cut inside of his man, Biereth. Oh my days, he ran too quick. Almost an hour in now, and we've still robbed the ball back. Norton Cuffy trying to go around his man. He's not got the pace to do so, though, and that's a brilliant ball. It's pulled back, and what a save. What a save it was. That should have been 1-0 to the Arsenal, as that looks a decent ball. The cross, not the best. Can't be sloppy like that again, as Manchester City, the sloppy team this time. And Biereth gets a ball inside, and this is on to Alvarez, the Argentine, who can pass it one more into Charlie Patino. The original player scores for the Arsenal. Very late on in the game, in the kit I am wearing. Charlie Patino. Remember the name. It's a goal that's been coming, and he's first in the Champions League for the 92 rated, as he's still very urgent to win that header. But they rob us again of the ball. They're starting to quicken up a little bit now, City. It's a good job we didn't connect with the tackle. Cuffy to whack it away, as it's on to Patino again, looking through onto Biereth. Biereth just has to run through, and it is surely 2-0. This keeper is brilliant for them, as that looks a decent ball though, and it's a header won by our defender, Bichiabu, or however you say the name, as he looks an absolute giant, or the 6'5" frame, heading into City's goal, and the whistle follows after. That is a brilliant 2-0, not the 1-0 to the Arsenal, but the 2-0 and the Champions League. Maybe this is what Arsenal needed. Fully resetting in order to beat Manchester City. They've got to go to the bottom of English football, or the 4th tier of English football. It's not exactly the bottom, as it's going to be Patino in the away kit to lift it. He scored the first goal. He's been here all save, and he is the hero for the bankrupt and relegated Arsenal. As if you want this challenge to be done with any other team that I haven't already done, comment down below and I will be sure to get around to it.